Hi everyone, welcome to Enlightenment TV. I just walk you through a few of my pictures of Thor. They're all made with ball pen, and here I did some testing on how I like Thor more, with the hair open like this or closed like this. This one's not that bad. Okay, when I drew this one, I made the note is Thor Jesus, because this one, I don't know, when I drew it I was convinced this is Jesus. Okay, this kind of represents the sequence with the gates. Note here I started, they're in a chronological order sort of, and here started to add the so-called iron grippers, his iron gloves. Here you can see like these ones, they're actually nothing but correction of a mistake. Since this is ball pen, it requires, the absolute godlike state. And this is from day before yesterday. You can barely see this. These ones, this would be like light, and so he basically creates a tornado out of that light, out of that white light, and sucks it into his palm, which then creates lightning, which I also created because I completely fucked up the hand and it required a lot of correction. So yeah, all these drawings are now 2-3 months old. And I thought I'd quickly show you these, as today is the Thor Special. Okay, now I had to change plans and everything, and this video was surely not planned. I would have showed you all these things later, but I just give you an example why I had to change plans. I basically just wanted to show you the gates, just the gates. Here you can see it quite nicely. So all of this would have been black, including the doors, and the doors are like the advent calendar, and like I said, they are also like glass and a canvas. And while I was actually making this video and tried to give you a few details on this particular sequence, it ended up with a quadrillion notes to self, some more notes here, and what happens is, as I teach, I learn, so then so many notes to self happen that I just can't walk a clear path, and it's all like and then I just, it just all stuck, and it just doesn't work like this. I feel like I'm one of those new speakers always reading from a paper, and it's like, I don't like this. Okay, so yeah, with the gates. Now I always described them as medieval gates, now thinking they would be like 6 to, I don't know, 20 times the size of a human, so they would be like bigger than a human, as I say, at least like 6-7 times. And yeah, one day I just in the morning like had Asgard on my mind, so research Asgard, and then it's like 3-4 years ago, And then I researched Asgard, and Asgard is described as a castle, which then shot into my head. And yeah, medieval gates, these are always the gates to a castle, and so on and so on. So the idea with the Aesir gods was basically born at this moment, you know. Now the other super obvious thing is, like before that gate sequence was the sequence with energy coming from the hands and feet and hitting here, which felt like making shocks out of my chest, like with a defibrillator in German, when they revive people, you know, who are basically dead, and they just resurrect them by just shocking them. And at the same time, it felt like someone would hit me with a hammer. And now if you think about it, of course I have no other comparable memory that I would be able to say, okay, someone hit me with a hammer on the chest like back then 10 years ago, you know. So nobody, I guess, can say about himself that he was hit with a hammer. But still, whenever I describe this meditation and the way this whole thing happened to people, this is how it was. Somebody hit me with a hammer. Now again, this took me I don't know how many years time to figure out that the only being basically of any significance with a hammer is Thor, right? And as I say, combined with this Asgard and the gates, the medieval gates, it all started to make more and more sense, you know, that these are the true gods, and this is the right direction to go. Now, the other super obvious thing, not yet obvious, but it will be obvious to my first subscriber Waldemar, it already is, because I showed him. This is the projector, okay? The other thing, which was at the very end of this meditation, was this information that I downloaded. I suddenly knew, whatever, that everything was holographic, which always was connected with this description of Morpheus, the way he described reality. He said, what is reality? Reality is the interpretation of signals through our brain, right? And this connected with the negative placebo effect video where I was talking about people just having red glasses on, and then they would create with questions and with pictures this placebo of fire, and this would then create the placebo of burns. You know, people would have had really burns, which is mind over matter. And this all means that there's a projector, okay? There's a holographic projector which projects this reality that we perceive to be real, and so on and so on. And the projector is nothing but projector, right? It's in the word. Projector, projector. There is no doubt about this. And once you see the projector, it's crystal clear, because, as I say, like with Waldemar, he has seen the projector, and this was the first time where he absolutely had no questions and no doubts and nothing. He just went to bed. I remember this, and then I knew, okay, that's you know, that's Thor's hammer hit, that's bam, and then you just know, you just fucking know. And yeah, super interesting thing. Now, before I scripted, when I scripted this video, there was a detail of which I wasn't 100% sure whether it was like this, or researched this. And this was, I researched now Thor 2 days ago for, I don't know, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, I don't know when it started, but it ended 5 o'clock in the morning when the sun was already rising. Now it's like 12, half past 12 o'clock at night. I always have to wait till the kids are in bed, and it was always so late and so on. So yeah, and there it was said that Thor, he has 2 goats that pull his wagon, and Thor was killing his goats, and then he was resurrecting those goats. And I wasn't sure anymore whether he was resurrecting him via his hammer Mjolnir or not. And yeah, when I researched this just now, it turns out exactly he was resurrecting his goats with the hammer Mjolnir, which, as I say, completely fits with with the way I experience this, and with the Buddhist terminology of rebirth, you know, resurrection, this kind of yeah, as I say, to me it all fits. What shall I say? Yeah, another interesting thing. This was like two days ago, which is now connected to the story. Also super crazy. So 2 days ago, I ate a beef soup, and when I ate it, it was just so tasty. And I was just like saying to myself, this must be bone broth. They must be 100% having nice bones in there, and you could feel and taste the bone marrow. You know, it's like this fatty something. And then I suddenly saw a piece of bone marrow, and then I had it on a spoon. I drank it, and then straight away I just like first the taste of it, the fattiness of it, then the word bone, B1, right? I mean B, there's nothing else to say, so B1. And when I was scripting this video, and I can do this now, I had muscle memory on my mind. The other thing was, about a week ago I ate a brain, and the brain, by the texture, is pretty much the same texture like the bone marrow. It's like fatty, jelly, and kann man nicht richtig sehen, Leute. Yeah? That doesn't really matter.